Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well and staying safe during this time. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Like I said, thank you so much for checking me out. If you haven't done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button just right below the video. Cool, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And if you're returning, welcome back. Thanks again for your support. I truly do appreciate having you here.
Fox Business to talk about the coming executive order on crypto from the Biden administration, and I was able to get, I just recorded this with my phone, so watch. I've got 3 clips. This thing is building up to, there's no telling what we're about to see here, folks, so this is getting interesting.
Is down more than 20% since the start of 2022, leading many investors to fear that we might be at the precipice of the so-called crypto winter, the prolonged period of just watching these currencies do nothing. All right, could help be on the way, though, from an unlikely source. The Biden administration is said to be preparing for the release of an executive order on cryptocurrency this February, which we all know is tomorrow, right, that will offer government-wide strategies for digital assets. And while there are still many unknowns surrounding this order, Harry M. Boren, founder and president of the Chamber of Digital Commerce, is here to anticipate what the directive might include. And Perry Ann, you are a crypto expert, but I want our viewers to know that you also worked as a legislative analyst in the House of Representatives. With that background, what do you think? What can you guess this executive order is going to look like?
Well, what's been reported in the media so far is that it's going to outline a government-wide strategy for blockchain, and what we're expecting to see is a broad-based set of recommendations that are focused on coordinating various government agencies to set a policy framework for this technology. Now, just to give you a little bit more context, at the Chamber of Digital Commerce, we have been advocating for a national action plan for blockchain for 3 years in February. So this whole government approach is long overdue, but it's really important that we get the details right. So what we're calling for is we're asking the administration to send a clear statement of support for the development of this technology in the United States. And there's so much on the line here. For us to maintain, for the U.S. to maintain its preeminence in the sector, what we need is a light touch policy framework that does no harm, but also provides regulatory clarity to investors in the industry. We have a lot to lose if we get this wrong, and if this innovation is pushed overseas. So the devil is in the detail, but this could be a positive development for the industry.
Let us pray. Okay, here's part 2.
Well, the attack, or the approach, I should say, it feels like an attack sometimes from the SEC's point of view, at least according to people who are very pro-crypto, has been somewhat haphazard. So any kind of framework would certainly help, but are you getting a sense that President Biden isn't exactly on the same page as Gary Gensler of the SEC, and that maybe President Biden doesn't want to squish down or tamp down this nascent investment, I guess? Some of it is cryptocurrency. Others say they're different kinds of securities. But how do you think he looks at crypto?
So this patchwork of regulatory oversight is something that has developed over many years, and it's something we speak to in our National Action Plan for blockchain. In March of 2013, FinCEN, who's department with inside the Treasury, that was the first agency to come out and issue guidance for digital assets and said they would be regulated as currency. And then the IRS came out and said, well, we're going to tax them as property. And now the SEC has jurisdiction over digital assets that are defined as securities. And we have the CFTC, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, regulates other digital assets as commodities. So that's 4 legal frameworks that all have very large regulatory requirements if you're defined in those ways. So this whole government approach to bring coordination and a formal way to that process is something that could help streamline a lot of these regulatory friction points for innovators today.
And you've got to figure that President Biden doesn't exactly love Xi Jinping or Vladimir Putin of Russia. So, Putin and Russia have said, we don't want you trading it, you can hold it, but we don't want any mining. We also don't want people getting too involved with it. Xi Jinping despises it. He does not like crypto at all. So you got to figure that maybe America might look at this differently. On top of that, though, the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, isn't exactly embracing it right now. Where do you stand on what they have said, which is basically they've called crypto destabilizing capital flows in emerging markets?
They're not embracing Bitcoin.
To financial stability.
Now, in this clip, you're going to hear Perian boring. This has been my issue with the Chamber of Digital Commerce and with the Blockchain Association. All they ever do is talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum, and they call themselves industry representatives. She's going to do another plug for Bitcoin. She's not going to talk about Ripple or XRP or the SEC lawsuit. She's going to avoid that because I believe these organizations are Bitcoin, Ethereum industry players. They are not crypto industry players. Until they can confirm for me otherwise, that's what I think, because I don't see them talk about anything but Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Bad economic policy. The global monetary and financial system is facing systemic issues. 3 points there. You have inflation around the world at historic highs. There's over a dozen nations today with inflation rates over 20%.
I need to replace my batteries.
Debt to GDP ratio is over 350%. That means we are spending 350% more than we are producing. And then thirdly, there's a huge financial inclusion gap. According to the World Bank, 1.7 billion adults remain unbanked today. These are just basic economic principles. We can't go on like this forever. Our financial system is changing. Logic tells us it has to. And there's many policymakers here in the U.S. that understand this. They see this. They're looking at digital assets, and more specifically Bitcoin, to strengthen their economy. Governor Greg Abbott, he's working to make Texas the crypto leading state. Miami Mayor Francis Suarez, he successfully been able to replicate hundreds of cryptocurrencies into the state of Florida. There's more examples of that, but look, currency is the lifeblood of an economy. Bitcoin is a lifeline to sound money principles.
Well, as we finish, I did want our viewers to know that in 2021, Bitcoin surpassed American Express and Discover in annual payment transaction volume. So it is a thing, folks, and whether you agree with it or like it or hate it or don't understand it, people are using it. So Perian,
now,
please come.
What Perian should have said just then is, wait a minute. Yeah, originally in Bitcoin's white paper, it references that it's going to be a payment for payments, but proof of work doesn't work, and so we're just doing it as a store of value now. She should have corrected her on that, okay? Because And that's the thing, is they keep running with the Bitcoin only, end all be all, and it's just not true. So this is the problem I have with that organization. Now let me tell you an organization that I don't have a problem with. In fact, I got on the phone with these guys. This is going to be at the very top of the description of this video. It's a company called Masterworks. Alright, this is cool. Listen up. Masterworks.io is their website, and I just bought some of this. You can actually see right here. Here's how this works, folks. I've never in my life been able to, fine art has always been an investment for the wealthy. What these guys have done is they literally go out and they purchase, let's say, a Monet. And I'm not some guy that knows a lot about art. I do know certain famous artists. But these guys will go out and they will they're working with the SEC to do this. They go out, they purchase a Monet, for instance. Let's say they bought it for $30 million. They're then turning that into shares at $20. I think it's $20 a share. Then what's happening is it makes it accessible to investors like you and me. So today, I actually did this. Today, I went and bought I bought $500 of a Banksy, who's an artist, $500 of a Banksy painting, and so I own shares of this Banksy painting. And they also have created a secondary, you'll see up here at the top, they've created a secondary market also, so you can put your shares up for sale. And then I think there's some time limit when they buy a painting. They have to go to the art auction and sell it, and when they do, everybody gets their share, the money for their shares when they sell it. What an awesome concept. They were actually, whether you're a fan or not, they were on Jim Cramer's show. He said a little bit about it.
Or at least it was. Now there's a new way to get some fine art exposure. A privately held startup called Masterworks has created a platform for buying or selling shares in what are known as iconic works of art. They use proprietary data to find artists likely to produce the best returns, then buy their art and securitize it with SEC filings and everything, allowing you to buy shares in a given price. Isn't this brilliant? These are more like bonds and stocks. The strategy involves selling each work after 3 to 10 years, then distributing the proceeds to shareholders. It's intriguing. I kind of like it. So let's take a look.
I like it, and so I opened an account and started doing it, and asked them if they wanted to be a sponsor. So they're gonna be one of my sponsors, and so I'm very excited about it. But as I do with all of my sponsors, I say, look, I can't do it if I'm not going to be a customer, and so I bought $500 worth of the shares, and it was like so much easier than I even thought. You got to go check it out. Again, the link will be at the top of this description, and it's masterworks.io. And it's a way, we're all always looking for a way to diversify, especially in these uncertain times, a way to diversify our investments. So that, I'm just telling you what I did. It's not necessarily for you, but you ought to check it out and make your own mind up. Okay, this is Nick Burafato from Link2. He posted this video. This is very interesting. Why we Ripple and why we XRP. Link2 private investing made simple. Many of you have never heard this. This is Stuart Alderati from, he's Ripple's general counsel. Listen to this. I'm going to have to hit the old refresh button. This is a good clip. This really lets you know what all this Ripple and XRP stuff is about.
On legal counsel back in 2019 here.
Actually,
He's going to represent what XRP is, and then I'm going to play a very important clip after that. Take a listen.
XRP, which is not owned by Ripple. XRP is not Ripple. Ripple is not XRP. If you own a unit of XRP, it gives you no right, title, or interest to Ripple. If you want to own Ripple, go into the secondary market and you can buy some shares in Ripple and become an investor in Ripple. But what XRP does, and this is really what I think is fascinating, is when you combine XRP with RippleNet, the proprietary software solution, I think it does something really magical. It's really the secret sauce. It's liquidity on demand. So the way that banks need to transfer money throughout the world now, as many of you know, is they need to pre-populate and pre-fund correspondent banking accounts throughout the world with millions, billions, and in fact trillions of dollars in anticipation of cross-border transactions that they think may, or they're predicting that may take place. Those correspondent banks charge a fee for that, and also the banks are beholden on FX brokers to execute FX trades when those cross-border payments take place. The trillions of dollars, and I think there's $10 trillion that sits in these correspondent banks, that's dead capital to the banks. And when I say dead capital, they can't use it to invest in their company. They can't use it to pay dividends to their shareholders. They can't use it to pay their employees.
And so on and so on and so forth. But just listen to this next little clip here. Again, level setting for everybody with a problem that XRP solves. Very real. $10 trillion locked up in dormant capital on the soft side. On the deeper side, we've heard Brad Garlinghouse say north of $25 trillion. Keep listening.
You can't even use it for a liquidity or stress test buffer under Basel III. It's dead capital. What the XRP solution in combination with RippleNet allows these banks to do is take the pre-funded dollars out of these correspondent accounts, put it back on their balance sheet, and now, if I'm sitting in the U.S. and I'm MoneyGram and I want to send $1,000 to you and you're in Mexico, and I want to convert that to pesos, using RippleNet, you go into the marketplace, and you go to a crypto exchange or a crypto market maker, and you buy $80,000 worth of XRP. You send that XRP to Mexico. The market maker or the exchange in Mexico then converts it to pesos and then delivers it to the ultimate consumer. That transaction takes 3 to 5 seconds. Whereas under traditional SWIFT network, that would take 3 to 5 days.
That, my friends, is about Ripple and XRP and what's going on. Greg Kidd, who's one of the first 10 guys at Ripple and is also a venture capitalist and a very smart guy. The U.S. regulatory approach in a nutshell, courtesy of Matt Levin. Facebook, now Meta, announced in 2019 with enormous fanfare that it was going to launch a stablecoin and work closely with all the relevant regulators, blah, blah, blah. And it went to the Federal Reserve and said, what do we need to do to launch a stablecoin? And the Fed said, you must bring me the egg of a dragon and the tears of a unicorn. And now the Facebook stablecoin is shutting down. One of the largest companies in the world devoted millions of dollars to figuring out how to launch a stablecoin and concluded it was impossible. It's demonstrably not impossible. Tether did it. Tether has a hugely successful stablecoin. Tether does not care at all about working closely with the relevant regulators. That's why. Unbelievable, folks. Here's Ron Hammond from the Blockchain Association, and he has done a whole write-up, and I think he kind of scolds Twitter on here. Finally, I will say that last week was a bad week for crypto Twitter. Staffers noted to me the amount of flack directed at various policymakers for a recess week was hurtful for various efforts. These kinds of actions can turn crypto partisan fast and need to be avoided. There's a rise of Twitter people turning every regulatory or legislative development into a fire drill that will end crypto. There are definitely merit to some of these alerts, but there will be a lot of battles this year, so need to be mindful of when to raise the alarm. And let me see what if he says about anything about the executive order here. Yes, right here. There are rumors that the Biden administration will unveil an executive order on crypto. In our conversations with the White House staff, this isn't going to be as substantial as many people think. The agencies are working on crypto, but this is an attempt to work better together. Well, I believe something that's pro-crypto or not negative when I see it out of this administration. They did, after all, put Gary Gensler there, folks. Here's an update from John Deaton. Listen up. This is on his Crypto Connect to Congress.
Established Connect to Congress on the Crypto Law site, and to give you an idea of how outspoken crypto investors are, we have 28,000 messages just from my little cryptolaw.us website where you connect to the Congress. We have 100 senators have been contacted. Every House of Representatives been contacted. Again, 28,000 messages have been sent. Also, the international XRP holders, almost 16,000 have signed that petition. And so we're speaking up.
Now,
established Connect.
If you want to go check that out, go to crypto-law.us and you can connect to Congress as well. Today, SEC approves first national blockchain-enabled securities exchange. Folks, this is one thing that's not really mentioned. I don't think that this is where XRP goes, being called a security, but if it does, or for any of this crypto, it doesn't mean the end of crypto.
I'm your guy. I will keep you posted. I'm your advocate. I'll be back on a daily basis, usually multiple times per day, with these videos to keep you updated with everything going on. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't done so, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to share any of my videos with your friends, family, social media, or anybody who may care to listen. Thanks so much for your continued support. I'm always here for you. I want to help you through this time. So thank you so much for continuing to choose me. Enjoy your day, stay safe, and I'll catch you again probably in a couple hours. Thanks, everybody. See you later.